Travel isn't just about destinations, it's about the people you meet, the cultures you immerse yourself in, the stories you carry home. I'm Relebogile Mabocha, and on my travel feature, I take you on a journey beyond the guidebook. Each week, I connect with fellow travelers, insiders, and storytellers to bring you the heart of every place. Whether it's a hidden gem right here in South Africa or a dream destination abroad. Join me as we travel through conversations, memories, and inspiration. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Jacob Moshokoa in for Pippa Hudson with you until 3 p.m. As I mentioned, we're getting into our travel and tourism feature. And today we're exploring Nosy Be in Madagascar. This travel segment today, we want to take you on an island holiday with a difference. The island nation of Madagascar off the coast of East Africa offers a unique travel experience with its diverse wildlife, stunning landscapes, and rich culture. And to tell us more about travel to this beautiful destination, we joined on Zoom by Harriet Millson, who is a Madagascar travel specialist. She's been on the show before with Pippa to talk about her travels, and today she's going to tell us more about Nosy Be, a volcanic island off the northwest coast of Madagascar. It's Madagascar's largest and busiest tourist destination. Harriet, thank you so much for joining us again on CapeTalk. Good afternoon.
Hi, Jacob. Thanks so much for having me.
Now, you don't often hear people talking about traveling to Madagascar when they're picking a holiday spot. What makes Madagascar a good choice for South Africans?
Jacob, it's very different to your sort of Mauritius, Zanzibar type holiday. Madagascar is, I hate using the word authentic because it's sort of overused by marketing teams, but it truly is authentic. To start with, it's one of the world's most unique ecosystems. 90% of its plants and animals are endemic to Madagascar. This means that they're found nowhere else in the world. So think lemurs, think the biggest chameleon, the tiniest chameleon in the world, which is no bigger than your pinky fingernail. And it's just so much to do and see, and it's not commercialized. It's very much a more low-density travel experience than the other resortified Mauritius, Zanzibar, Maldives type places.
Now, Harriet, what's the best way to travel there in terms of flights? Is there numerous flights?
There's really only one way, Jacob, and that's with Airlink from Johannesburg. So unfortunately, nothing from Cape Town. But Nosy Be itself is a 3.5-hour flight from Joburg. They fly weekly on Sundays only, so 7 or 14 night stays is necessary. You can also get there via the capital, Antananarivo, with Tana for short. Also with Airlink, but then you need to depend on the local airline, the domestic airline, which is my main nightmare in life. It's always rescheduled, it's very unreliable and super expensive. So the direct flight with Airlink is really the way to go.
And in terms of price for a return ticket from Joburg to Mauritius on an Airlink flight?
To Madagascar, not Mauritius.
To Madagascar.
Jacob, that's always a tricky question I get asked because Airlink has a sort of various different sort of levels of ticketing. So the earlier you book, the better, and you can get in there starting at about 9,500 return from Johannesburg. But as those cheaper flights get taken, or the cheaper fares get taken, it gets more and more expensive. So it is a more expensive than your other islands, but it's, you know, Mauritius and Zanzibar, for example, are more affordable because of the frequent international flights, the efficient infrastructure, and large scale resorts that can slash prices. There's none of that in Madagascar. There are limited flight connections. The transport logistics are a nightmare. And obviously operational costs for remote lodges and the more niche tourism market is also a factor that people are going to pay. And of course, our wonderful rand, which is so weak against the euro, and all prices in Madagascar in euro. And I'm hearing myself talking the place down, so don't let me do that.
Tell me something about the visa requirements. Are there any, if any, visa requirements to get to?
No, technically there aren't. South Africans can go without a visa. There is something called a visitor's permit, which is issued on arrival at Nosy Be Airport. It's €10 per person for up to a 14-night stay. Anything longer, and then yes, you do require a visa.
And is it like a a good place to go, like when you're going to KZN, where you're like, oh, you can visit us all year round? Or is there a specific time to go there? What's peak season in Nosy Be?
So peak from a South African point of view is often the school holidays, but the best time to travel is really from the end of April through to the end of December. January, February, March are what we call cyclone season. That doesn't mean you're going to get a cyclone, but it does mean it's very hot and very humid over that time with a lot of rain. In fact, to the extent that Airlink doesn't fly January through to the end of March, and a lot of the lodges will close down too. So May through to the end of December, absolutely ideal.
So now you've convinced me to check out Nosy Be. And what are some of the highlights I can get into doing when I get there?
Well, if you're a diver, the diving is superb. I'm not a diver myself, but I am told by those that have dived around the world that Nosy Be offers some of the best diving. In fact, it beats the Red Sea, I'm told.
Wow.
I'm more of a snorkeler. I like to bob along the top and not dive down deep and see what's under the rocks. But it is just absolutely mind-blowing. The water clarity is fabulous. The water's lovely and warm, of course, no wetsuits required. If you're into fishing, it's also a wonderful destination. I do a lot of group fishing packages, and the guys always come back super stoked with plenty of big fish, dorados, wahoo, lots of salies and kingfish. And then for a family holiday, it's a beautiful beach holiday. You know, your beaches are not crowded. There's no lines and lines of beach lounges waiting for you to have to book it early in the morning. Beaches generally are desolate. So you're going to have a beach to yourself. And then families, they love it too. So that's always a good thing. And then if you're into your nature, well, there is really, unless you want to go to the Galapagos, there's nowhere else in the world that could offer the variety of amazing nature. And as I say, I always call them the weird and wonderfuls. They're just so different in Madagascar that it's worth a visit just for that alone.
No, I think you're painting an amazing picture of Madagascar, Harriet. I must say, I'm already hooked.
Travel isn't just about destinations. It's about the people you meet, the cultures you immerse yourself in, the stories you carry home. I'm Relebogile Mabotja, and on my travel feature, I take you on a journey beyond the guidebook. Each week, I connect with fellow travelers, insiders, and storytellers to bring you the heart of every place, whether it's a hidden gem right here in South Africa or a dream destination abroad. Join me as we travel through conversations, memories, and inspiration. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Tell me about you mentioned lemurs earlier. There's a lemur sanctuary, or lemurs are originally from Madagascar?
They are, absolutely, and basically only found in Madagascar. There's about 100 different species of lemur, unfortunately, many of them getting wiped out. But any visit to Madagascar, you will see lemurs, both in the wild, and then there are a few sort of places, Nosy Lemur Island, for example, in Nosy Be. You'll find 4 species of lemurs there, and that's where you get that amazing lemur on the shoulder moment. You know, they come and they jump on your shoulder, and you can hear them sort of grunting softly in your ear. You have to experience it to understand it.
And then in terms of booking, what's the best way to do it? Is it better to book a full-on package which includes flights and dinners, etc.? Or is it one of those things where you could sort of wing it, where you just book the flight and accommodation? And
please don't wing it. And please don't try and sort of what I call a DIY thing. You know, that you can do in Europe, you can do it in South Africa, Namibia, even Botswana. But Madagascar, there are so many challenges. You might think you're a seasoned traveler, but Madagascar is different. Not only that, if you can go online, yes, there are booking.com places and Airbnbs and what have you, but I have received phone calls from travelers that have got there thinking they can do it themselves, saying, help, it's not what it said it was going to be. We're here, or we're stuck at the airport. So many, problems that you need local knowledge to actually avoid. So it's tempting to try and do it yourself, but booking through a reputable agent and somebody that's got that first-hand information is not going to cost you anything more. Agents make their money off the hotels. They get paid by the hotels. They don't get, they don't add on to the actual costings. So it's really just, I beg of everybody, please don't try and do it yourself. It really isn't worth it.
So if you want to go for something a little different outside of obviously spending a few days on the beach and doing your diving and your snorkeling and your fishing, etc., what else could somebody do? Is there hiking trails? Is there visits into the old town? What would that experience be like for somebody who wants to do something else other than being sitting on the beach all day?
Other than a sort of a beach holiday.
Yeah.
Nosy Be is really primarily a beach destination. Madagascar itself has a lot to offer. There's all the national parks. None of them are like we have here in Africa itself, where you drive through. It's all walking, simply because there's no predators that can scoff you. It's sort of, But so you have a guide, and you will go. And yes, the hikes are up to you. Really, the guides are amazing. They'll read your fitness level.
Okay.
Again, working with an agent will also establish all of this before you go, so you're not going to be facing something you can't cope with. But there are hikes on Nosy Be as well, a few. But I would say if hiking's your thing, then mainland Madagascar would be your preferred destination. What we like to do is sort of use perhaps a week of what I call hard work, which is doing the national parks and what have you, and then ending up somewhere like Nosy Be or Ile Sainte Marie on the east coast, which is a beautiful beach destination as well, just where you can put your feet up, relax, and sort of recover. Because travel through Madagascar is hard work. It really is. It's not easy.
We're on the line right now with Harriet Millson chatting about Nosy Be, all the way in Madagascar. The perfect place to go to if you don't want to go to a crowded or a place that is overplayed. She mentioned the areas of Mauritius and Zanzibar being the go-to and the usual place, and sometimes it does get too crowded. But Harriet has mentioned Nosy Be as the untouched island that you have to visit, especially because it is so close to South Africa. Now, my next question, Harriet, to you is, what are the people like? You usually visit a place and sometimes you need to ask for things, and just judging on how they speak to you and judging on how they treat you, are the people nice to tourists?
Jacob, it was the Malagasy people that I think got to my heart more than anything else when I first visited in 2006. They are a kind, gentle, smiling people. They're some of the poorest in the world. Madagascar, I think, is right up there with one of the top or the most poor countries in the world. But despite that, they are always willing to help. They're smiling. They're open-natured. There's no sort of underlying friction or anything at all. And yeah, they just can't do enough to make sure you have a good time in their country. They're very proud of being Malagasy. And you come away, leaving Madagascar, I think, mostly with the impression that the people have made on you rather than anything else.
What's the nightlife like? Because I still like to go out now and again in the evenings to skit my biscuit. What's it like? What's it like at night?
So it's probably not a nightclub destination. There is nightlife if you stay on, I use the term mainland very loosely. Mainland Nosy Be, there's a place called Ambataluk, which has a row of little hotels and bars and beach bars, which is pretty festive. Mm-hmm. But other than that, you're not really going for the nightlife. You're going, in fact, generally you'll probably be fast asleep by 9:30. And then awake early in the morning, ready to go again. So nightlife, no, I wouldn't recommend it as a destination for that.
And then earlier in the intro, I read something about a volcanic island. Is the volcano still possibly active, or could we visit where it was once upon a time?
Nosy Be itself is a volcanic island. They've got 11 lakes, which are all sort of from craters, the crater lakes, if you like. But no, Reunion, I think, is the closest with active volcanoes. There's no active volcanoes in Madagascar at all. In fact, I'm going to tell you something I tell everybody. There is nothing in Madagascar that is going to hurt you or kill you, except perhaps the occasional mosquito.
Oh, that's a good question.
There are no venomous snakes in Madagascar either. So it really is a very harmless destination.
The mention of mosquitoes got me questioning now. Malaria-free area as well. Don't need to take any malaria tablets building up to my trip there at all.
It is a malarial area, Jacob. Some parts more than others. Again, why you need to take advice from somebody that knows these things. Obviously, more in the summer seasons, which are the December, January, the rainy season, then it's more prolific. But always consult either a travel advisor or your GP before you go.
But I think what also puts everybody at ease about something like this is if you book with a reputable travel agent, they're likely going to get you into one of the fancy resorts which has all the nets and everything else to take care of the mosquitoes.
Well, yeah, that you're going to be put somewhere or recommended to go somewhere that you either under a mozzie net or it's an air-conned room. But again, you do still need to be sensible. So peaceful sleep or tabard. And I'm told the malaria mosquito only bites between 10 at night and 5 in the morning. And as I said, you're going to be asleep by then.
Oh, I love this travel feature, Harriet. I never knew about the 10 and 5 situation.
There you are.
I'm learning so much as we go along. Another important question I definitely have to put out there is the food. Is the food up to scratch? Is it mainly all just seafood? Because I'm a big seafood connoisseur.
There's obviously a lot of seafood, particularly in Nosy Be. The food was something also that I was super surprised about when I first went. It's got a strong French influence, and all the chefs and the cooks are trained. And the things that they can produce. Sometimes on the charter boats, we do liveaboard charters as well. And they've got this tiny little galley, and they can produce sort of world-class meals out of there. But if you don't eat fish, it's not a problem. You're not going to be starving. There's their local cattle is called zebu. So your zebu steaks with a green Madagascar peppercorn sauce is sort of there. And then lots of different, as I say, you don't need to eat fish to have a good diet experience. So there's plenty of everything, and it's really good and very, very, very high standard.
And the fact that it is a family sort of orientated type of visit for anyone, there's no excuse for you to not visit this, whether you're a single, whether you're friends, whether you're a couple or an entire family. The entire Nosy Be caters for anyone and everyone.
It absolutely does, Jacob, yes. And I really think it should be a bucket list item to visit Madagascar. The only warning I do give to everybody is it's not going to be your first and last time. Once you go, it gets under your skin. It has a way of doing it, and you will come away ready to plan your next trip there.
Thank you so much, Harriet Millson, telling us a little more about Nosy Be, a unique island holiday. And the best way she describes it is, it's one of the Indian Ocean's most authentic, untouched island escapes. Harriet, thank you again for your time. I'll tell you one thing, I'm definitely convinced.
Look forward to hearing from you, Jacob. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Her name is Harriet Millson. In our travel and tourism feature, we were talking about exploring Nosy Be in Madagascar. It's so ironic. I never ever heard of a place called Nosy Be. I was even unsure of the pronunciation. Had to Google it yesterday while I was prepping for the show.
Travel isn't just about destinations. It's about the people you meet, the cultures you immerse yourself in, the stories you carry home. I'm Mabocha, and on my travel feature, I take you on a journey beyond the guidebook. Each week, I connect with fellow travelers, insiders, and storytellers to bring you the heart of every place. Whether it's a hidden gem right here in South Africa or a dream destination abroad. Join me as we travel through conversations, memories, and inspiration. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.